All right, we're gonna start this over again because I just did all of my stats and then realized I didn't press play yet. So it's all good. It's Rachel here. I am coming back to you after a very long time. It's been over a year, literally. My surgery, I'll start from the top. I had the single anastomosis duodenal switch surgery, which is a modified duodenal switch, and it has a lot of names: SIPS, SADI, Loop DS. All that to say, I had that surgery. I had it on June 28th, 2019. So today is July 3rd, and I think I actually hear fireworks. Someone's getting early with it. 2020. So, stats. I'm 5'5". I started out at my highest weight being 303 pounds. My surgery weight was 247 pounds. My current weight is 179.2 pounds. Now, that would make more sense with my reaction if I had done enough videos incrementally leading up to this, but I didn't. Because honestly, I was really discouraged, and I'm not a big YouTuber, and I don't feel like I have the charisma for all the video stuff. So anyway, I was more discouraged, and I didn't want to talk about it. I really was just like, you know what? I don't want to talk about this fact that I'm in the 180s for 6 months. But anyways, I was. So, we'll get into that a little bit more later. So, it's been quite a ride. I mean, it doesn't feel like I had a major surgery a year ago, but I have to remember that I did. So I'll give as much of a rundown as I can. I had my surgery at Wake Med in, it was actually in Cary, North Carolina, with Dr. Scott Bovard, who was originally under the Bariatric Specialists of North Carolina, but then they kind of pulled under the auspices or umbrella of Wake Med. So essentially, I was a Wake Med patient, and I had my surgery the morning of June 28th. Yeah. Post-surgery was, I think, as expected. I followed a lot of support groups on Facebook and watching other people's journeys on YouTube, and so I knew what to expect. I didn't know how that expectation would feel, but I did know to expect pain. I need to walk. I'll have gas, gas pains, all that. So I expected that, and that's exactly what happened. The first night was pretty uncomfortable. The second night in the hospital was a little better. I figured out a position that made me feel really good, and it works for everyone. Is different. I found this like cockeyed, crooked side laying situation with a bunch of pillows on my back, and that really helped for whatever reason. Did a lot of walking around the hall on the floor. I had decent nurses. Some were good, some were mediocre. When I came home, it was just really the whole journey of getting used to sipping. I had the most intense indigestion. It wasn't that my stomach was full. It's that like my esophagus didn't want to accept the fluids going down. So I would take the littlest sips. Like swallowing my spit would cause indigestion, let alone taking a sip of anything. So and that was for weeks. It was pretty interesting. I took my pain meds and gas meds and used the spirometer to keep my lungs functioning well. Walked around my home a lot. I sort of have a area where I could basically walk through the entire perimeter of the inside of my house. So I did that. I had this surgery on a Friday. I worked from home, so thank goodness I had an amazing manager at the time, and I told her I was having the surgery, And I said, but I'll be back on Monday. Like, I sit on the sofa. I can sit on the sofa. I can work, no problem. And she's like, Rachel, I don't think that's a good idea. Like, take time off. I was like, no, 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 I'm okay. I'm good. I'm good. No, like, I got home Sunday afternoon. Monday morning, I woke up and I was just not with it. Like, I felt so tired. Like, I had gotten beat up. And I slid my laptop on my lap, logged in, and I'm looking at the screen and I just fall asleep. I couldn't stay awake. I felt miserable and all I wanted to do was sleep. My biggest concern was that how am I going to get my fluids in? How am I going to sip every 15 minutes on the top of the hour, 15 and 30, and then drink an ounce of protein at the 45 minute? Like, how am I going to keep up with all that fluid when I'm sleeping? And all I wanted to do was sleep. So, whatever. I don't know how that all happened, but I didn't get dehydrated. My mom was amazing. She kept me up on my pain meds and my fluids and everything, and my weight started dropping as I expected, because I was getting probably about between 200 and 400 calories for the first 2 weeks. So my weight was dropping, and came back from my 2-week post-op visit, and yes, I was losing weight, so plus, but my blood pressure the day of my visit to the doctor's office was like 87 over 50 something. I felt delirious, I felt cold, I felt tired, I felt a little bit confused. I probably shouldn't have even driven to that appointment, but I did. I was not feeling good. Like, 2-week liquid diet after a major surgery is a real precarious time, and I don't think we should be driving, but I did. So anyway, I made it through that. And then the weight was continuing to come off. I was getting really excited. I have pictures. I'll post some. I'll figure out a way to insert these into this video. I don't know how to do all this technological stuff. But I have all these progress photos that kept me really excited with the weight loss. So July goes by, August goes by, September, yeah, doing well. September is when I really started to work out. I started feeling better, like really good. And my brother had gastric bypass RNY about 12 years ago, maybe 13 years ago. Now, he has a different physiological makeup than I do. I think he has actually a smaller bone structure, although he's taller. He's like 6'1" or whatever, 6'1" or 6'2". But for whatever reason, the amount of weight that he lost, I think he just lost it really quickly. He had skin for days, and he still does. And I didn't want that. I want to look healthy. I don't want to be like wet clothes on a skeleton. And that's kind of like how he looked. Like, his face was just like, and I didn't want that. And I was told, or at least by these support groups, keep up with the weight training. Make sure you fill in this area under your skin that fat is now gone. Fill it with muscle. Do weight training. And that's what I did. So for a while, because my weight was coming off quickly in 2, 3, and 4 months post-op, I was still seeing the scale change. And so I was still motivated and excited about doing weight training and a lot of like really intense like body weight training. I would do workouts from YouTube, and didn't really do cardio. I didn't want to do cardio. I don't like cardio. And so I was happy to like just like pump my muscles and feel strong. So that was good until about October, November. So at that point, I did cross over the 200-pound mark, and I got into the Wonderland. I met that in probably about November. But that's when everything seemed to literally stall. I would contribute it to a combination of things. One, my weight loss was just slowing down because maybe it just was. 2, I wasn't drinking enough water. 3, I think the biggest contributing factor is that I was doing body weight training and filling in muscle. Like I looked strong. I didn't look like a gaunt bariatric patient sometimes I see. And I witnessed in my own brother. So while I was liking how my body looked because I was toned and tight and I could wear like tight things and like I didn't have saggy skin, my weight loss on the scale seemed to just completely stop. And that was really from November on until just last week about. I think another factor was that I was coming up upon the holidays and I baked. Like, I don't know why. I just had this thing. I was like, I'm gonna bake everything. Tarts, cookies, cakes, brownies, new type of baked goods. And I would taste it. I would give some to neighbors. I would do a combination of some low-cal, low-carb things, but mostly just like I went all out. I mean, everything. I think I made even a cheesecake. So, I think all that, just the holidays in general, and other factors just contributed to really a slowdown in my weight loss on the scale, at least. And that discouraged me. So, come New Year's, holidays are over, and I'm starting to kind of like, I'm like, okay, let me get back on track. Like, let me start looking at what I'm eating, tracking my food. What's going on? Like, my weight is not, I didn't gain any weight, so I would have to say that's a success that I didn't gain any weight, but my weight was not going down. And I'm trying not to get discouraged because I'm looking at everyone on these support groups and they're like, I'm losing 40 pounds a week, da da da. And I'm like, congratulations, happy face. What's going on with me? So I really got to the point that in March, a lot of things happened. COVID happened, and that changed a lot because although I worked from home and my work schedule didn't change, my son was now home from school, and I'm making him breakfast, I'm making him snacks, I'm making him lunch, I'm making him snacks, I'm making him dinner. I'm finding ways to have fun with him, which is baking. So we're baking again. This time, all low carb, using almond flour, coconut flour, swerve, like really conscientious baking. But it was difficult because I was still not losing any weight. That's when I had my first appointment with my nutritionist, and I hadn't met with her since December. And while my insurance covered it, I still just felt like I was bothering her. I don't know. I had this thing like, oh, I don't want to bother my nutritionist. Like, I just want her to think everything is great. Not a good idea. So I started meeting with her monthly in March. So I've met with her 4 times, and it has changed the game for me. We have discussed what I'm doing, what I need to be doing, from water to getting back on track with my vitamins, to getting back on track with my food tracking, to getting off the scale, taking measurements, switching weight training to cardio. So it's just been a lot of different things, and over the course of the 4 monthly appointments I've had with her, I've just been really encouraged by the information I've gotten from her, even just the encouragement that I'm still doing really well. But I still stalled. So I'm like, okay, these appointments are great. I appreciate all the feedback. I'm doing it all, but I'm still fluctuating between the weight that I knew that I was, because I hadn't weighed myself for a couple of months because I kind of was scared to. After the holidays, I weighed myself in March. I was 189 pounds, which, okay, yeah, I mean, that's good. But over the course of maybe a month or 2 months, 3 months, my weight would only fluctuate between like 183 and 186. And I'm like, okay, why? Like, I'm going up, I'm going down, I'm going up, I'm going down. And my weight in December was 195. So I really hadn't lost a lot of weight, maybe 6 pounds over 4 months that I wasn't really paying attention, 3 months or so over the holidays. But then when I started really paying attention, it still only fluctuated 3 pounds, and it would just go up and down and up and down. And I'm just like, if I could just get into the 170s, I want to see 170 something. And that's when, in order to, I think, to have seen that change was walking. I don't know what walking does for a bariatric patient. I don't know. I don't know if it was just that I changed what I was doing in general, or I was too infrequent with my weight training that it didn't give me enough benefit over the course of like a week. But it'll be 2 weeks ago. It will be 2 weeks ago tomorrow that I started walking. And I used to think that walking was boring. I still kind of do, but I found ways to make it interesting. One is audiobooks. I mean, you listen to an audiobook on a long road trip, just listen to it on a long walk. And I have fallen in love with like listening to audiobooks and going on these long walks and getting a sweat. Like, I'm a sweater. I kind of thought that losing weight, I would sweat less, but no. I sweat a lot still, and I'm actually okay with it because now that I'm realizing how good it is, like, I'll sweat and like, this is nasty. You know how like like your first sweat is like super salty, or like maybe if your diet is really salty, your sweat is really salty. So I had gone on a walk this morning, and because today's the day before 4th of July, my company gave off, we have a holiday today. Anyways, we were home today. So I said, okay, sending my son, he's going to camp at 8:30. I'm taking a long walk. So I take my long walk this morning, and I have a good sweat going on. I get home, and then I kind of cool off, sort of dry a little bit, try to eat something, and then I head back outside to do some gardening. It was so strange because I sweat more doing gardening than I did on an hour and a half walk, but like my sweat had no taste. Like, it tastes like water. It was so interesting. I always thought sweat was salty. Like, sweat usually is salty, but like I sweat so much that it was just like, like, it was like, ooh, this is interesting. It's just water coming out of me. It was so strange. So anyway, I have been going on anywhere between a 2 and a 4 mile walk, which I know for many of you, or for many people out there, that's not a very long walk, but for me it's huge because I hadn't walked before, and for me 4 miles is pretty significant. I think at 4 miles, I'm looking at my little watch here. Come on, swiper. No swiping. So I'm at 11,224 steps today, and that's 4.74 miles. So I kind of think that 4 miles is about 10,000 steps, which I have never gotten. Like, working from home means that I sit for about 8 hours a day, technically. I don't walk a whole lot within my home. I just don't. And I just would do weight training, which doesn't really contribute to like steps. And so people are like, oh, I get like 10,000 steps a day. I get 15,000 steps a day. I'm like, I get like 800 steps a day. That's really terrible. I didn't realize how important steps are until I started really walking. And so I like it. I listened to a couple of self-help books that actually help me walk. It motivates me to walk faster and walk more and walk longer, because the book is actually talking about making incremental improvements in habits and how it literally changes your life. Anyway, it's been really cool. So I stepped on the scale yesterday after my walk. I think I weighed myself like 7 times because I didn't believe it. I got on my scale and it said 180.2. I was like, so then I took a poop and I got back on the scale and it said 179.6. And I was like, I just stared at it. I was like, 179, like 1 and a 7. What? And like, my scale is synced to an app on my phone, a Fit Index. So I got my phone and put it near me so that the Bluetooth would sync up, because I needed proof. Like, I needed visual proof that I literally got down to that weight. I'm like, you know what? I just did it. This is what it's all for. Like, oh my goodness, I was beside myself, and it was just so motivating. It's been so motivating to see that I've gone from 189 to 179 since March. Now, everyone's journey is their own. People keep saying that, but until you break a new goal for yourself, you're just like, I don't care about anyone's journey. I don't care about anybody's journey. I don't care if you're 110 pounds, you lost 300 pounds in 4 months. I don't care, because I'm in the 170s. And it's just been really amazing. I have noticed also that walking has cut my appetite, whereas weight training was making me hungrier. I would like eat so much when I was weight training. I was like, what is happening? Like, I am hungry. I eat and I'm hungry, and I finish eating and I'm hungry, and I don't really feel the restriction, and it was making me nervous. And I was like, you know what? This doctor didn't even do a DS on me. Like, he went in there and poked 5 holes in my stomach and was just digging around, and there's no surgery. Like, I really felt, I was like, I don't feel any restriction when I was doing weight training. But tell you what, them walks take my appetite. Like, I came home, I had 1 egg, 2 sausages, and a little teeny ramekin cup. I took 1 bite of 1 sausage, like, which was like a third of one of the links, 1 bite of egg, and I was just like, okay, I'm done. And I didn't eat anything else. I had a protein coffee that morning. This morning, I had the bite of sausage, a bite of egg, and that was it. I went to the store, I had to exchange some clothes, I came back, and that's when I was hungry. So that's when I ate the rest of my egg. But that was noon. So that's all I had until that point. So I don't know why. I don't know if it's just psychological, but I am not nearly as hungry now that I'm working on walks, this light cardio. Now, I don't know if this is yet another honeymoon period. I would like to think that this is all I ever needed to have done, and that my body won't then get used to this and then stop losing weight. But my goal weight is a question mark, because I've never been remotely healthy as an adult. If technically you're an adult when you're 18, I was probably 230 pounds when I was 18 years old. And then it went up. From there, went down, up, down. So between the course of my adulthood from 18 to 37, which is almost 20 years, I've only been in the 200s. Only. And there was a point when I had actually reached 303 pounds. It was Mother's Day of 2018. I will put a picture within this so you can see. It was pretty tragic. And interestingly enough, that Mother's Day, I thought I looked so cute. I had my yellow dress on. I had my little jean vest. I had my little jewelry on. I did my makeup. And I thought I looked cute. Then there was a family photo that was taken of me and my family. And when the photos were taken, I looked at the photo and I was like, is that what I look like? Like, that's what you guys see? Like, you haven't told me I'm that big? Are you kidding me? Like, I was blown away. I thought to myself, all this time, y'all jokers say you love me, and you let me get this big? No, it's not their fault. But I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed I was that big. And that day I weighed myself because I was just like, what in the world? Like, how big are you? And that number 303, it just changed things for me. I didn't actually change anything. It changed things in my mind where I thought I looked cute. So I was like, okay, I look cute. I got a cute outfit on. So I might be a big girl, but I carry my weight well. I've been told that probably when I was at a point about between 220 and 240. It's like, oh yeah, you carry your weight well. You're a cute big girl. And then I stopped hearing that. And little did I know is because I gained like 60 more pounds on top of that. And I was no longer, oh, cute girl, like, you look cute. It was just like, oh, you're really funny. You're really nice. Let's see what else I can say about her that doesn't speak to her looks. And that's when I think my self-confidence changed, because while I have always been big, I never thought I looked bad. I was just like Lane Bryant, Torrid, Kato. Like, I can wear I got a good shape underneath all this. Like, I can wear clothes well. And I was told that for so long. It actually kept me from caring about losing weight. And when I saw myself in that picture, I thought to myself, yeah, I don't even look good anymore. Like, I don't even like how I look anymore. And so my self-confidence changed, yet nothing else did. I still ate the same way. I still was inactive, but I just felt bad. Like, now I was conscious about the fact that I was fat, which is not a great place to be at that point, I didn't know what to do about it. So it has been quite a journey, and sort of to circle back to what I was saying, I don't really know what my goal weight is. I want to lose more. I'm literally looking at my legs as I'm talking to you. I know that I'll probably get plastic surgery done because, for instance, when I do like mountain climbers or planks, I have hanging skin, which is not uncommon with any of you all or people who have gotten this surgery. But like, for instance, I definitely want this because I have a good muscle mass, but this skin right here is just uncute, and I'd like it for it to be gone. So that's where I am with that. I don't know what all I'm gonna get done, and when I'm gonna get it done. But right now I still have a lot of fat underneath this skin, so I don't need to rush to use plastics when I have more weight to lose. I would say 20 pounds more. If it all comes off evenly distributed, I would say 20 pounds or so. So anyway, this was a long video because I really wanted to touch on a few different points. I know I missed a whole lot. I'm happy to answer questions that you might have about the months in between, because I know that there's a lot more that I skipped over, especially in those like months of like just eating again. How much did I eat? I will do a few what I eat in a days, because I love those. Those are some of my favorite videos on YouTube. So I feel like I would do the bariatrics community a disservice if I didn't do some of my own. So I will definitely do a few, especially 1 year out. It looks obviously very different than, you know, those 2 and 4 weeks out, even 6 months out. And being a SIPS patient, I really have not found a lot of information online or on YouTube about YouTubers or vloggers who have had the SIPS surgery. And so, not that my eating should significantly differ from anyone else's, but I do think that there is something significant about the SIPS surgery in the DS, and even the SIPS and the gastric sleeve. I think we fall somewhere in between, where we can have, because of what's happening in our intestinal area that got cut up, but there's only one anastomosis versus 2 that you would have with a duodenal switch. I think that I've come to understand that we should be having definitely more fat is permitted in our diet than a sleeve patient, but not as much as this duodenal switch patient. So we're in a curious little place in between, where we need to be a bit conscientious, but we have freedoms with our food. So I'm going to go over what I eat in a day, because I do balance. I don't go overboard. I know there's some DS patients that eat like 200 grams of fat in a day, because they're like, none of it gets absorbed, or 80% gets malabsorbed. I'm like, that's not the same for SIPS, and I think there's something to be said about that, and I'm gonna say it. So that's where I am. I will leave it at that and add some photos in so you can take a look at what my progress has looked like, because it has been pretty interesting. And I would say that I don't even want to, you know what? I don't even want to say it. No. Stalls are normal, but I'm not okay with them. I don't like them. Like, it's like a mind. It's like a mind. It makes you frustrated, because you know, okay, someone is killing it with the fireworks. Actually, I gotta go. I think I want to see them. So I'm gonna finish this video, and I will talk with y'all later. All right, bye.